Ladies and gentlemen, we're back already with Gen 10, drumroll please, Scarlet and Violet 3. I'm just trolling, guys. I'm actually really excited for Gen 10. This time around, it looks like they took a lot of the feedback to heart. For a lot of people, it felt like Legends ZA was kind of the breaking point where the graphics were a massive focal point of the conversation and, of course, shitty map design. After analyzing the footage probably 12 times over, I feel extremely confident in saying this game will save the franchise. Pokemon Winds and Waves takes everything good about the prior games and expands on it, and it seems like it's rectifying a lot of issues. Stick with me here. For example, the routes in the trailers feel a lot more refined, with tight spaces, drastically different biomes filled with lush environments, a lot of buildings either visibly enterable or context clues lead me to believe that they will be. The graphics look beautiful, the underwater section looks gorgeous, and the Pokemon models look better than ever. And I know what people might think, I'm giving Game Freak too much credit for shit that other companies have been doing for decades, and you are absolutely right. I'm not gonna fight you on that because yes, from a visual standpoint, this does not look like a 2026 standard game. That said, nothing Nintendo does is ever that either. I feel like that's the core draw of Nintendo games. They were never the ones at the forefront of the graphics race or innovating to beat out Call of Duty or Uncharted or Halo. So with that said, Game Freak finally catching up to modern Nintendo's standard of a good looking game is exactly what I wanted. The water looks amazing, the environments all sway with the wind, and the flora is flourishing. Drop a sub if you thought that was a little bit poetic. In terms of the starters, I'm honestly a little surprised by how controversial these guys have been. I consider myself pretty picky with starter designs. I've been pretty sold on the idea that Game Freak only really knows how to make one good looking starter per generation, but honestly, this lineup feels like the best we've had at least since the 3DS era. Pombon is easily going to be my pick, and I can only pray they don't make him a bipedal freak. Gekwa is a gorgeous Pokemon that really to me feels like an OG type design, and Brout honestly is a sleeper. Like, Brout is what Chikorita fans think Chikorita is. I could be completely wrong about this, but I get the vibe that any ill will people have towards Brout is just going to be rectified in his Evo line. Like, I just have this gut feeling that his final one is going to look extremely tough. Overall though, I honestly think people's gripes with the starters are stemming from their feelings of Game Freak in general. Like, none of the criticisms I've seen for these starters have really made any sense to me. Somebody said the 2D form looks good, but their 3D models look like shit, and it just sounds like you're the type of old head to say like, Pokemon should have never gone 3D, which is fine, but like, why are you bitching about a 3D game? And it's okay to not like these Pokemon, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if you don't like them, you're just a malding Game Freak hater, but none of these starters are like extremely chopped and ugly. Like, from an artistic standpoint, there's genuinely like no weird choices made in terms of color theory or anatomy that's like objectively bad looking. But let me know in the comments if there's something about these starters that I'm missing. I'm perfectly fine with being wrong on this one. In terms of map design, this game genuinely has the potential to be Pokemon Peak. Like, the writing on the wall insinuates a cool mystery to be solved in the map. The underwater area implies an entire secondary level to explore via diving. The small islands between the bigger ones and these windmills and buildings spaced out throughout the map. It really feels like they're trying their best to do Pokemon Breath of the Wild with this one. I could be completely wrong and none of this stuff will be interactable or hold anything. This is Game Freak after all. But inspecting the footage and seeing open buildings, lit up buildings that are separate from the cities, multiple windmills in one shot, and buildings far enough from other ones where the only point of having them there is that they're interactable. I find it really hard to believe they go out of their way to make all these assets and go with all this detailed map design just to leave them there for no reason whatsoever. Again, Nintendo and Game Freak are not ones to waste money where it's not needed. I mean, fuck, they didn't even model railings in Legends ZA. I refuse to believe they do entire buildings and windmills unless it served a purpose. Overall, this game seems like it just might be the one that saves the franchise and brings Game Freak back into the consumer's good graces. This might be glaze, only time will tell, but it seems like a vast majority of people's issues with the prior games have been addressed in a very tasteful way that blends the feeling of old games with the new. I'll be buying it, and to be honest, if this one's a complete flop, this might be time for me to hang up my new era Pokemon coat. But until then, we wait. All I can say is Alola 2.0, here I come, baby.